always been different. Since childhood, he experienced vivid dreams that felt more real than waking life. As he grew older, these dreams became more intense, transforming into what he learned to be astral projection. He could leave his body and explore the world unseen, an ethereal traveler between realms. At first, it was exhilarating. He floated above cities, traversed through walls, and visited places he'd only seen in books. The world was his playground, and his curiosity knew no bounds. But as he ventured further, he began to notice the shadows. It started subtly, a flicker in the corner of his vision, a sense of being watched. John dismissed it as paranoia until the night he encountered them directly. One evening, he decided to explore an old, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. It was a place shrouded in local legend, said to be haunted by the spirits of those who once lived there. Perfect for an adventure, he thought. Slipping out of his physical form, he floated towards the mansion. The air grew colder as he approached, and an uneasy silence enveloped him. The mansion loomed, dark and foreboding, its windows like empty eyes staring back at him. Inside, the darkness was thick, almost tangible. John drifted through the dilapidated halls, his curiosity mixed with a growing sense of dread. As he entered what seemed to be the master bedroom, he felt a sudden chill run down his spine. There, standing by the window, was a figure. It was tall and thin, its body cloaked in shadows. Its face was obscured, but John could feel its gaze piercing through him. Panic surged, and he tried to retreat, but his astral form was frozen, held in place by an unseen force. "You shouldn't be here," a voice whispered, echoing through the room. It wasn't just one voice, it was many, overlapping, creating a cacophony of whispers. The figure moved closer, its presence oppressive and suffocating. John struggled, willing himself back to his body, but he was trapped. The shadows around him began to writhe and twist, forming grotesque shapes that closed in on him. Faces emerged from the darkness, twisted in torment and malice, their eyes empty and soulless. "You belong to us now," the voices chanted, their tone shifting from a whisper to a menacing growl. The shadowy figure reached out, its hand a mass of darkness, tendrils snaking towards John. In a final act of desperation, John focused all his willpower on returning to his body. The world around him blurred, and with a violent jolt, he was back in his bed, drenched in sweat and gasping for air. He could still feel the icy touch of the shadow on his skin. From that night on, the shadows haunted him. Every time he closed his eyes, they were there, waiting. His once thrilling ability had become a curse. Sleep offered no refuge, it only brought him closer to the entities that now hunted him. Days turned into weeks, and John grew weary, his mind fraying at the edges. The boundary between the physical world and the astral plane blurred, and he could feel their presence even when awake. The shadows whispered to him, promising release from his torment if he would just surrender to them. One fateful night, unable to resist any longer, John succumbed to the pull of the astral plane. As he drifted away from his body, the shadows surrounded him, their cold embrace welcoming and final. John was never seen again. His body was found lifeless in his bed, a look of terror etched on his face. The townsfolk whispered of the mansion and the dark entities that dwelled within, warning others to stay away. But some nights, if you listened closely, you could hear the whispers in the wind, calling for the next curious soul to join the shadows beyond the veil.